Chapter 1 of A Bullet for Cinderella. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Winston, Tharp. A Bullet for Cinderella by John D. MacDonald. Chapter 1. A steady April rain was soaking the earth. It hadn't been bad to drive through until dusk came. In the half-light it was hard to see the road. The rain was heavy enough to reflect my headlights back against the windshield. My mileage on the speedometer told me I couldn't be very far from Hillston. When I saw the motel sign ahead on the right, I slowed down. It looked fairly new. I turned in. The parking area was paved with those round brown pebbles that crunch under the tires. I parked as close to the office as I could get and ran from the car into the office. A woman with the bright, cold eyes and the thin, sharp movements of a water bird rented me a room far back from the highway sound. She said the place was just 4 miles from the Hillston city limits. Once I saw the room, I decided that it would do. It would be a good place to stay while I did what had to be done in Hillston. I stretched out on the bed and wondered if I had been smart to use my right name on the motel register. But if I could find the money, there would be no one to say that I was the one who had taken it, and using my right name wouldn't make any difference at all. When at last the rain eased up, I went and found a small roadside restaurant. The girl behind the counter told me where I could buy a bottle of liquor. She seemed open to any invitation to help me drink it up, but though she was reasonably pretty, I was not interested. I had this other thing on my mind, and I wanted to go back alone and have some drinks and think about it, and wonder how I could do it. Maybe you saw pictures of us, the ones who were really bad off when the prisoners were exchanged. I was one of the litter cases. My stomach had stopped digesting the slop they fed us, and I was down to 93 pounds. One more week, and I would have been buried up there beyond the river, like so many others were. I was in bad shape, not only physically, but mentally. I was too sick to be flown back. Memory was all shot. I went right into hospital, and they started feeding me through a tube. It was during the months in the military hospital back in this country that I began to sort things out, and began to remember more of the details about Timmy Warden of Hillston. When the intelligence people had interrogated me, I had told them how Timmy died, but nothing more than that. I didn't tell them any of the stuff Timmy had told me. We were both captured at the same time in that action near the reservoir. I'd known him casually. He was in a different platoon. We were together most of the time after we were captured. Enough has already been written about how it was. It wasn't good. That prison camp experience can change your attitude toward life and toward yourself. It did that to Timmy Warden. His one thought was to survive. It was that way with all of us, but Timmy seemed more of a fanatic than anybody else. He had to get back. He told me about it one night. That was after he'd gotten pretty weak. I was still in fair shape. He told me about it in the dark, whispering to me. I couldn't see his face. "Tal, I've got to get back and straighten something out. I've got to. Every time I think about it, I'm ashamed. I thought I was being smart. I thought I was getting what I wanted. Maybe I've grown up now. I've got to get it straightened out." "What was it you wanted?" "I wanted it, and I got it. But I can't use it now. I wanted her, too, and had her, but she's no good to me now." "I'm not following this so good, Timmy." He told me the story then. He had been in business with his brother, George Warden. George was older by 6 years. George took him in as a partner. George had a flair for salesmanship and promotion. Timmy was good on the books, as he had a natural knack for figure work. They had a building supply business, a retail hardware outlet, a lumber yard, and several concrete trucks. And George had a lush, petulant, immoral, discontented young wife named Eloise.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?